which we cover sewer house connections. Sometimes I'll refer to it as earth connections, and sometimes I'll refer to it as property connections, depending on which version of the software you've installed. So let's go ahead and create these house connections. I'm first off going to show you how to set up your inflows, because remember that your house connections don't just create a model of a house connection that is low enough to drain the whole property, but it is also created to create an inflow into the network. So let's go and have a look at the inflows. If we go to our design parameters, we first need to check that the dynamic flow update is ticked on so that your property connections will connect to the sewer with flow contributions. We'll then look at the flow contributions. We'll use the unit flow, so we'll look at the unit flow parameters, and we'll make sure that we have set up ours according to whichever regulations you're using. You can see here I've used the average daily inflows and I've got them set up here. You're welcome to change these as you wish. I'll then look at the property connections, and if we go to the defaults, you'll see this is the defaults that are used whenever I'm setting up. If I'm, for instance, doing all the connections in the street, I will come here and I'll change it to in the road reserve. You can see that we've got inside the property, outside the property. These two are for mid-block sewer connections, and then we've got the in-road reserve. You've also got the setup of the minimum cover and at the house and also at the boundary. So if we look over here, you can see that if we look at this property over here, you can see that we'll be connecting over here, but the land is flowing in this direction. Let's quickly jump back and just get our slope arrow switched on and then come back to the screen in a second. So I just want to show you which way the terrain is falling. So I'll just go to my terrain, to my slopes, and I will choose a length of 2 millimeters is perfect. I don't want slope shading at this stage. And I can say, okay, now I know that the ground is falling in this direction, and you can see that's the lowest part of the property. So if we go to these defaults, you can see I want to connect here, and I know that the sewer is running in this direction. So I'd like to connect at this location. This is the lowest point on the property. And so if I had to have a laundry room in this part of the property, I'd still want the property connection to drain. So when we scan the ground, we're going to go and say, find the lowest point, which will be here, drop down 300 mils, and then go at 1 in 60. You see, you can always edit these items and change them as you suit. So this is more of a plumbing exercise in this direction, and then we meet up with the main civils sewer connection at this side here. At this side, we're going to be at 0.7, and we'll then connect. But we also will do a check to see whether this connection actually suits the main line, or if it is deeper than the main line, and we'll flag that for you, and we'll show you how to flag that. Going back to the contributions, we're going to choose that all our connections will be in middle income, and we will calculate the minimum ground on the property for you. If we just have a look at these connections here, you can see that I want to speak about the inside earth and outside earth. So we just come to this part here and bring up, I'll just press spacebar to bring that up again. Here you can see that I want to connect these properties. It's not ideal to connect up here because the terrain is falling here. So we call this a mid-block, this connection here, and we'll be connecting on the outside. So we'll be using this tool over here to connect on the outside of each property. And then over here, you can see I want to connect these two properties. This is also mid-block, but it's called an inside property mid-block connection. Okay.